All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? All my people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, all about Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back out with another video. And today marks the 10-year anniversary of the release of Drake's album, Views. One of my favorite Drake albums, personally, from start to finish. I love this album. It's up there with me, for me, with my favorite Drake albums like Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. I love this album, just me personally. Some people may have mixed feelings about it. Some people may not like it. Look, that's perfectly fine. But before we get to views, I want to talk about something. You know, of course, this is coming off of Drake's, now infamous beef with Meek Mill. And, a lot of people were debating, could Drake win this beef? And, I do think, that light skin, dark skin thing has something to do with it. Drake is a light skinned, biracial, quote unquote, black man from Toronto. And Meek's a dark skinned black man from Philadelphia. Philly, battle rapping Philly is legendary. Meek Mill came up battle rapping. He's this hardcore battle rapper from Philly, and Drake's this soft, ladies man, light skinned dude from Canada. So, Meek Mill should crush him. There were some people who thought that, and they were hilariously wrong because Drake bodied this man in the now legendary diss track Back to Back. And of course, for all you don't know, the cover art for Back to Back is Joe Carter, Toronto Blue Jays player Joe Carter, hitting a walk-off home run to win the 1993 World Series over the Philadelphia Phillies. And of course, Drake's from Toronto, Meek Mill's from Philadelphia. This was the Blue Jays' second consecutive World Series, i.e. they went back to back. That's just for people who don't know. Of course, it was also Drake's second diss track from Meek Mill, so he's going back to back on diss tracks. And he had a third one ready, Back to back like I'm on the cover of Lethal Weapon. Back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97. Ooh. Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know you got to be a thug for it. Of course, his girl at the time was Nicki Minaj. Drake is Drake's fellow label mate at Young Money. So, took a break from Views. Now it's back to that. Nigga, 66666. That's how the song ended. Of course, Drake was in album mode. He was prepping Views. And the first single released from Views was Hotline Bling, which became an instant hit. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. And the video is now, dare I say, 11 years later, it's a now iconic video. I remember when the song came out, everybody was bumping it. Everybody was doing the dance, in school. People were making their own parodies to it. You used to call me on my track phone. One of my friends, he said that dumb shit and just made us laugh. Like I said, this was an instant hit. Everybody was loved it. Everybody was bumping it, and everybody was doing this dance. I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. Ever since I left the city, you. The next single was more successful than that. The next single was One Dance, featuring Wizkid and Kylo, which became again another instant hit. This was prime Drake, certified hit worldwide. This became, I believe, the most streamed song of all time. It's since been passed up. At the time, I believe it was the highest selling digital song or most streamed song of all time. And, I personally love this song. For all you who don't know, who are new to my channel, but for those of you who've been on my channel long enough, but for all those who are new, my dad is Jamaican. My dad's Jamaican and my mom's Bahamian. So I am a quote unquote Caribbean. So, and this song definitely obviously has some Caribbean influence. Drake's from Toronto. There are a lot of Caribbeans who live in Toronto. A lot of Toronto hip hop, if you've ever listened to it, is clearly Caribbean influence because some of the rappers there are Jamaican, Haitian, Trinidadian, Bahamian, whatever. They're of Caribbean descent. A lot of the quote unquote black people in Toronto are mainly Caribbean. So, of course, most of the hip hop there is going to be Caribbean influence, dance hall, reggae influence, as opposed to, American hip hop or quote unquote American hip hop, black people hip hop. But anyway, I digress. This was a super successful song. It's definitely one of my favorite Drake songs. It's Caribbean influence, a big reason why. Yeah, but it's such a catchy song. That's why I need a one dance. I love this song personally. But then the big day came. Then Views was released on this day in 2016. It had songs like Keep the Family Close, Nah, You With Me, and Western Road Flows, another one of my favorite Drake songs personally. With You featuring Party Next Door, Faithful featuring Division, and the late great Pimp C. Drake stated he was influenced by UGK. He got his big break in Houston. He says he has love for the city of Houston. Whether that's genuine or not is up for debate. Of course, One Dance featuring Kylo and Wizkids, Grammys featuring Future, Too Good featuring Rihanna. Other good songs like Child's Play, Pop Style, Views, and so self-titled track, the album title track. Great album. Love this album for me personally, start to finish. Loved it. Love the album. Is it a hip hop classic? I think, because that's a debate amongst hip hop heads. Does Drake have a classic? I personally think he does. I think Take Care was a classic. I think Nothing Was the Same was a classic. Is Views a classic? To me, I think it is. Other people may disagree. A lot of people may not like this album. That's perfectly fine. That's your business. But me personally, I love this album. And to me, it's a classic. They got so many great tracks on it. One Dance, Western Road Flows, Faithful, Too Good, Grammys. Love this song. Love the song, and it was released in 2016. And I know this year everybody's so reminiscent of 2016, which, hey, I was a teenager at the time. If you were a teenager or young adult, in your early 20s in 2016, there's a reason why, for all the young kids who wonder why we reminisce on, us adults reminisce on 2016 so much, because it was a fun year for pop culture. It was a great year pop culture-wise, music-wise. Drake, Rihanna, so many great artists releasing great songs. It was a fun time to be alive, fun time to be a teenager, be outside all summer during 2016, hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family. And, Drake was definitely the soundtrack to that summer. That song One Dance, and, among other artists. Again, I love this album personally. To me, it's a classic. Others may disagree. You're welcome to respectfully disagree in the comment section down below. Tell me, what's your favorite song from this album? Again, mine's just One Dance. Personally, mine's just One Dance. But tell me in the comment section down below, what's your favorite song? Do you think this album's a classic? Where does it rank amongst Drake's best albums? And what's your favorite pop culture moment for 2016? So everybody else reminisce of 2016. Why not? Why not we do it here on the channel? Don't forget to click like button, subscribe. How Young Brother Grow on YouTube. I'ma see you all.